This segment of CoastLife is sponsored by Coastal Comfort Heating and Air Conditioning.
When you're talking about your home, you're talking about the biggest investment you make. It's probably the most expensive thing you're ever going to buy, and you want to take care of it. One of the ways to do that is what's going on with your HVAC system. And when we talk HVAC, there's only one place to go. It is the gang over at Coastal Comfort. Lacey Coleman is the CEO over there. Lacey, there's all these myths about HVAC stuff and how to save money, how not to save money. And when it's cold out, this is when we want to think about that stuff. What do the people at home need to know?
Absolutely. So we oftentimes have customers call in and, there's concerns about energy usage, whether, trying to lower the electric bill or different things. So over the years, I think there's been some myths out there that consumers may think that are helping, but it may actually be hurting the call. So closing off vents is one of them, and we hear this one often. So a traditional ducted system is designed to move the amount of air that it needs to. So if you're cutting off vents, it can cause the static pressure to rise. So basically, in easy terms, it's going to cause the system to work harder and potentially less efficient. And so really, it's not doing much good. You may be cutting air off to that room, but the system may actually be working harder. So it's better to leave the vents all open so the system can work as designed and move the amount of air that it needs to.
That is 100% a thing I've heard before. People have told me in my life before.
Yeah.
So it is great to hear that don't do that, because I'm sure there's people out there right now that they're undoing their vent as we talk. They're like, oh no.
Although it sounds like a great idea to cut air off to a specific room, it's not actually saving really much energy at all. It may be causing your system to have a premature failure.
Are there any other cost-saving tips you have for the folks at home? Is there anything that they should be thinking about specifically this time of year?
Yeah, it's really difficult, and I know high electric bills is a big buzz right now. Everybody's opening up their bill that time of the month, and they're just what do we do? So thermostats and adjusting them is one way, but it can also cause your bill to go higher if you're doing it incorrectly. So oftentimes we see, hey, turn the temperature either down significantly during the day if you're not home, or at night, which could be fine. However, if you are turning the temperature back up, say you turn it down to 60 degrees, at nighttime, and then you wake up in the morning and it's chilly and you want to get ready, you have your coffee, enjoy the morning, and you want it to get to a more comfortable temperature, maybe that is 70 degrees or 68 degrees for you. If you have a heat pump, if you're going from 60 to 70 degrees, just bumping it right up, it's going to cause that backup of the auxiliary heat to turn on. And that is when things get very expensive, when you're relying on that. So if you're doing that every day, any savings you may have thought you had, overnight by keeping the temperature at 60 are negated. They're gone.
It's a lot of sort of counterintuitive things. People don't realize that you're trying to do the right thing, but you're actually making it harder for the system.
Yes, and so coming up, we're going to have some really extreme cold temperatures in the teens, single digits with the wind chill. So turning the temperature back, your thermostat back, 8-10 degrees will actually, it's not a good idea. In those situations, we actually recommend just set it and forget it. That's what I do at my house. I keep it at 68, downstairs all the time. I don't ever turn it back. I just leave it, because the system will actually have to work twice as hard in those really, really cold temperatures to try to maintain and especially try to get your system back up. And then you're going to see it relying on that auxiliary heat. So in these extreme temperatures, your system will be running all of the time. That's normal for a heat pump in this cold weather, but it's better to just let the thermostat stay where it's at. Don't move it around too much. A degree or here and there is fine, but doing more than 2 degrees at a time can actually cause that auxiliary heat to come on.
I think what's great about this piece of advice is it's the easiest piece of advice to follow.
Yeah.
Don't get too tricky. Set it, forget it. A degree here or there, if you're a little chilly, if you're a little warm, that's fine, but you just don't want to go nuts with it.
Yeah, the system may be doing all it can to keep up when it's 9 degrees outside. So bumping the system back 10 degrees and then asking it to work really hard to get it back up to 68 or 70 degrees, but that may be comfortable for you. It may run extremely hard, bringing on that auxiliary heat to try to get that, and it may still not be able to. It just may not be able to overcome the outside conditions as we see it here.
Now, outside of all of this, these are great everyday tips for people whose system seems to be working fine. But if something goes wrong, if they need to reach out to somebody, How do they get a hold of you guys? Because when it's colder out and something goes wrong, you got to get a hold of somebody quick.
Yeah, absolutely. They can visit us at our website, coastalcomfort.com. You can request service there pretty easy. It goes to our office. You can request a date and time, and then someone from the office will reach out. And then in Delaware, 302-629-4700.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on the couch today. I really think those tips are going to help a lot of people because, again, those are both things that I've seen people do. They're both things that at times I may be guilty of doing. So thank you for sharing those.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
All right, we are going to take a break. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We have more Coast Life after this.